JF Stretford, Paddock. This is Transfers Live, which means I'm joined by my best friend, Joe Smith.
Oh, thanks.
It's all right. How are you?
You're my best friend as well.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
I'm great. What are we talking about today, Jay?
We're going to be talking about Marcus Rashford.
Oh, what's going on?
He thinks he's going over to Paris and deserting us in Manchester. He's got another thing coming. Well, he might not have. So he could be going to Paris. We're going to be getting into all that.
Interesting.
We're talking about Adrien Rabiot because apparently John Murtaugh is meeting Adrien Rabiot's mum, who's his agent, but no one likes to talk about that.
No.
So that might be new information for you there, Joe. We're also going to be talking about Frenkie de Jong. We might have a bit of an update there with Frenkie de Jong. And because it's 2018, we're going to be talking about Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Because apparently, you know, we're going back in time to when we were linked with him.
It is
Are we linked with him all the time?
Just constantly linked
Is
with him.
that what it is?
Yeah, we've signed a contract with him to be constantly linked with him for every transfer window for the next 5 years with an optional 6th year. This is the optional 6th year of being linked with him. I think United have activated that this summer.
I actually think that sounds like something we do.
Yeah.
Let's have an option to be linked with you.
Because I tell you why that actually could make some sense.
Go on.
Because if he paid United to get clicks and to get sort of profile and fame, United would probably sell their sort of Twitter army in order to give him extra followers
Don't
and to
give him
us
ideas,
extra money.
Joseph. Don't give this club of ours.
You're allowed to link yourself with this club.
Ideas.
Oh God, that's not something to do.
Do get involved in the comments and the chat. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. We want to get to 700,000 subscribers, and with your support and help, we can do it. Big love and support to all you guys who've been subscribing and getting us over the 650,000 mark.
That's great.
Now it's time for 700,000. What are we talking about first then? What's first on the
I think we should start with
agenda?
Gakpo.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention this kid. Now, this is the lad from, where is he from?
PSV.
PSV, oh yeah, you've got it here for me. United are expected to table a formal offer for PSV Eindhoven's £50 million rated winger, Cody Gakpo. Do you know PSV Eindhoven was the first football shirt I had that wasn't a United shirt?
Was it?
Sorry, it's the second one. Sorry, I'm telling lies. The second one I had wasn't a United
Quite
shirt.
a slightly less monumental fact, but you know, you've said it
It's
anyway.
the second one I had then.
Really?
Sorry.
What was the first one? City. Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool. And then United started winning things, so I started supporting them and that, innit?
Who actually was it, do you know?
Yeah, I'm not just saying it to sound like I'm Fergie.
Was it Newton
It
Heath?
was at Aberdeen.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a white Aberdeen top.
That's interesting.
My dad got me randomly. So it says Ten Hag will be disappointed to learn that PSV have no intention of selling their star man until after their Champions League playoff double-header with Rangers, which won't be settled until the 24th of August. So if we want him, we're going to have to wait for him. Do you want him?
I don't know, to be honest.
Well,
I'm just worried that
dare
how
you
we're
have a reasonable
just
answer?
so low down the list on all of our targets here, aren't we? Like, we wanted Anthony, but we can't get him. We wanted De Jong, we're struggling to get him. Like, I think he's a good player, and I think he's very promising. I think 50 million quid is too much for him. I think he's good, but he's not great. Like, he's the sort of player that could easily go from PSV to like Sporting Lisbon or to Galatasaray or Ajax or something, and it'd be a deal worth 18 million euros.
Yeah.
He's such a United tax sign in this.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's some players where, you know, you look at De Jong, if it ends up being, you know, between 70 million and 100 million quid, you kind of go, fair enough, but this is the sort of player that he gets a few goals here and there. He's not that young. He obviously could improve, and I'm not saying he's not good enough for United, but 50 million quid is a lot for a 24-year-old that gets about 10 goals a season. I don't know. I just think I would have him. I would obviously trust that he's good enough to play for United, but he just seems very much a last-minute thing, doesn't he? Like, we weren't linked with him. We didn't seem to be interested in him at all until about, 4 days ago? I don't know. I'm just sick of getting second, third, fourth choice signings. Although I would welcome, reinforcements on the wing. It's just a tricky position that we're in, isn't it?
I'm a little bit torn over this one, a bit like Natalie Imbruglia in the late 90s, because I like to have heard of these players.
Yeah.
And I'm not the most, well-researched football person. We all know that. But you know a lot of the players, and you think, oh yeah, I know a lot about him. Didn't know a lot about him. I know he scored quite a few goals last season.
Yeah.
But it feels like all these players are sort of like players you've barely heard of, or players you sort of know a little bit about, but they're not ones you'd want. Not ones you go in at the beginning of the season. We need to get Gakpo in. We need to get this kid in. We need to get in. Do you know what I mean? Such and such a body. Or we need to get. Sesko wasn't one I was thinking of a few weeks ago. And all of a sudden we've got to get him, and then we don't even get him. Do you know what I mean? It just feels a little bit like you say, we're not getting the main players that you'd expect us to get. We're getting like these third or fourth choices, and then we're getting these silly offers. I mean, the reason I say I'm torn is because I hadn't heard of Tyrone Malacia Seems like he's a bit of a bargain, did well in pre-season. But see more of him. So it can work that way. And I get the manager knows these players from Holland. It just is a little bit underwhelming to constantly get linked with these players who you just about heard of a lot of the time. And I know people in the comments might know, sorry to insult you, might know a lot about him. And you're going, oh, Jay, you need to watch more football or whatever. But I didn't see anyone, not one, and dig it out and whatever, I didn't see anyone a few weeks ago saying this is a kid we should be going for. No one was saying that. It's just we lower our expectations, so you go, eventually, we're at the point where he is someone we're going for because all the other targets that you wanted us to go for have already been sold to someone else.
And there's part of me that thinks I like that he's not a huge name. We're going after players that require scouting or some sort of knowledge that isn't just, who are the biggest names available. But that, to me, that should supplement signing players that are proven. Like Man United obviously need a way to buy players that are cheaper, that are less proven, therefore less expensive. But when you're spending 50 million quid on those players, 20 million more, you can get a world name for that. Do you know what I mean? You can get a very good sort of top player for 70 million quid. If we're going to pay 50 for like these sorts of players like Gakpo or people that are under the radar kind of astute signings, they're meant to be 15 to 30 million euros, not a third of your transfer budget on a player that is completely unproven. I just think it's almost like they're going, well, let's try and get some under the radar players. That's what the fans want. Prove that we're good scouts. Okay, perfect. Under the radar. What's that going to be? 15 million? 50 million. Yeah. Now that's the thing that doesn't add up to me. If you're going to be spending 50 million, like Chelsea just paid 50 million for Raheem Sterling, someone that has got 30 goals in a season for the best team in England. Yeah. Like how are these players comparable? I'm not, to be honest, I would have taken Sterling at United. The old City-Liverpool thing may have been a stumbling block too far in terms of politically, but in terms of quality, he would improve Man United. And that's how much he cost. The fact, like, someone like, I can't remember his name, who just left Chelsea, the striker.
Timo Werner.
Timo Werner, thank you. Who's just gone back to Leipzig for what, 25 million euros?
How much was Jesus?
45 million euros? 45 million pounds?
Similar age.
That's what I'm
proven Premier League caliber. I'm not saying Jesus is the greatest player, but the thing is, when we're linked with someone like Anthony, you know a lot about him. You think you can get it. He's played for tonight. He's exciting. This doesn't feel like another Anthony. He's just someone for Dutch League who's not quite as good. It feels like a lesser player, an inferior player who's had one good season and two okay ones. And yes, he's 23, but he's not 20. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, if he comes to United, I'll get behind him, but he's certainly not someone that I was particularly thinking about until recently. And the reason I'm thinking about it now is because we've been linked with him. It'd be nice if it was the other way around. It'd be nice if you thought of players and wanted those players and you see that we're linked with him, not you hear of them because we're linked with him, if that makes sense. Yeah. Because it just feels like we are just sort of scraping a little bit here. Hit that like button, lots of people saying it. Yash Gami says, already we will struggle to get top 4 in the Premier League, but can win Europa League if we sort this. Solo, big shout out to Solo, the United agenda was on there before. Great to see him in the chat. Said, I would love to get Anthony. He's the next big thing. That looked like it was going to happen at one point. Now it looks like, obviously it's not. Paul G says, panic buying we are. Yes, it does feel like that. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel as well. There's a subscribe link in the chat. Hit that subscribe button. So it's a lot in it. Yeah. I don't know about this. The whole story seems a bit flawed.
Yeah, I agree. And like when we talk about this sort of, let's scout the next big thing. You imagine a sort of a Mahrez or a Kante signing. I think I don't know how much Mahrez was, but Kante was about 5 million quid or 500,000 or something, like under 10 million pounds for someone that can improve. Not, look, we've got this next big thing. Keep it under your hat. How much is it? 50 million. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not what we mean when we say get someone under the radar. You don't spend 50 million quid on a under the radar player. That has to be an established player that's definitely going to improve the first team. You can't be spending 50 million quid on like a bench player. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no, it does seem fraught with problems, unlikely. But we'll wait and see strange things happen. And if he does come, like I said, get behind him. But
of course.
He wasn't at the top of my list in particular. I just feel like we get into this thing as well of, because we've been so poor starting the season, people go, well, he's better than Rashford, or he's better than Ilanga, or he's better than ever. Even if you've not seen him, he must be better than them. We'll just get him in. And I think we need to start aiming a little bit more than just someone we assume is better. Yeah. Let's get the players we know are better. And let's get the players not just better than what we've got, but are good enough to challenge at the very top. Because at the moment, the players we've got aren't good enough to challenge at the very top. Well, a lot of them aren't anyway. so we need massive improvements. Should we talk about the obvious transfer target this summer?
Yeah.
The one that we actually do all know and most of us wanted. Frenkie de Jong. There's a bit of an update here on Frenkie de Jong. You can see here, Manchester United have gambled all on signing Frenkie de Jong this summer. Right, there's this story here doing this about Frenkie de Jong's girlfriend, Mickey Kimmich, seemingly drops a hint over the situation. Barcelona midfield's future. And speculation is growing unhappy. He's growing unhappy in Spain. Mickey posted a video of the couple in de Jong's car, wake surfing, with the caption, "Meanwhile, living our best life," suggesting Dutchman remains happy despite his colours.
Would you say how the fuck is that a story by any chance?
Yeah, I'm reading this. Where have we got this fucking shite from? To be honest, like, this is, sorry, but this is awful. This is meaningless. I need to start reading the scripts a bit more before we go on.
We had a better story than that from before.
Yeah, where's the Jason Burt story? Because this is nonsense. But I've got a story that is slightly more weighty. Jason Burt.
His girlfriend is posting
Yeah,
living
I
my
was
best
reading
life.
that,
Oh, he's
thinking
staying at Barca then.
This is going to twist in a minute.
Yeah.
And then as I read it, I realised with as shock and horror, it wasn't. This is actually the fucking story, which is terrible. Right, Jason Burt, I think, writing in the Telegraph.
This is the story. This is what we thought was going to be
Yeah,
written
this is what we
on
sent
this
to the
screen.
production team and was ignored, apparently. Said a representative for Chelsea spoke to Barcelona last week about De Jong, but they received so little encouragement from the player that they have not even submitted a bid, even though they can match United's deal, crucially, can offer Champions League football. So that was what I think Jason Burt, I think it was, in the Telegraph was saying.
It is very reliable, and that is more of a that is a genuine sort of new take on this story that Chelsea, obviously, who seem to be United's biggest competitor and rival for this signing.
Someone wrote that out. You wrote that out, you. Did you write that out? Hey, someone wrote all this out as well.
Unbelievable. Meanwhile, living our best life, suggesting the Dutchman remains happy. What are you on about?
What is this? What?
That is one of the worst things I've ever read, that. The actual story from Jason Burt from the Telegraph, who's an actual journalist, not an Instagram post, is much more important, I think, that Chelsea don't seem to think that there's
seems
much
to
chance.
I've always thought there must be something in De Jong coming to United.
Yeah.
Because surely Eric Ten Hag can get on the phone and going, "Are you going to come?" And he goes, "No, not a chance." That's the end of that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand, like... And also, you don't talk about players that aren't yours, whatever. But if you know for a fact he's not going to come, if you're Eric Ten Hag and you go, "I know he's not going to come," you can say, "We're not in for him." You can say that. You can draw a line under it. So there's something going on here, and I don't care what Mickey Kimmich says on his Instagram. To be honest with you, that could have said all this, right, and then gone, or it may mean the complete opposite.
Yeah.
It's that meaningless.
Unbelievable.
Like, that is,
Get that off the screen immediately, actually.
Yeah.
Put a badge on if you have to.
I
Let's
don't
want people reading that and associating that with
a
us.
pile of bricks or something on there. It'd be
Let's
more
build a
relevant,
wall.
To United's current situation.
Jay would rather have a
than
Trump
that
2024
festering
on the
pile of
screen than
shite
that.
we've just read out. Danny Shields has been a member of the first team for 20 months. I'm sorry, that's just done me, that one. Says, is there a small element of extra panic creeping in among fans because the season has started so much earlier than usual? 3 weeks of the window still left. He's making a point there.
That is an interesting point, and almost like a subconscious thing of like, you think, right, the first game's been played, usually, what is it, 2 or 3 games and then the window closes?
Yeah.
Whereas this time it's another week. But I don't think so. I think, generally speaking, the reason you want players in at the start of the season isn't because it's near the end of the window. It's because then they've had time to gel and have a pre-season together. And also, if you're about to bring in the best player of your window after the season started, that means those first 2 or 3 games you were playing with a weakened squad, which obviously isn't ideal. So maybe in people's minds the urgency of this is stepped up slightly incorrectly. But I don't think that the fact that you want players in before the season starts is because the window's about to end. It's because you want those players for those games.
No, I agree. Happy in the Super Chat says, great to see you, lads. It's kind of disappointing going from all the optimism 3 months ago to all the negativity surrounding United. Do we have a scouting department? F the Glazers, up the Paddock. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like we haven't been doing much scouting on it, to be honest with you. Or if we have, Eric Ten Hag's not listening to it. He's doing his own thing, isn't he?
I think it's just Ten Hag.
Ten Hag's got his own
team, innit?
Trond Ivan Blomso has been a member of the first team for 9 months. Says, is Frenkie de Jong? Haha, sell Rashford and don't buy anyone. Vodka anyone? Love you guys. Ashley W says, understandably 3 weeks left, but the best teams have done their business already. Teams don't want to sell now as they have their team sorted. Yeah, I mean, he makes a decent point now. I can understand that one as well.
Can we talk about Rashford next?
Yeah, let's do that.
Like changing the
Are we going to have
Rashford?
Rashford's auntie's done an Instagram post saying Weist is wonderful, so that means he's definitely going to Turin.
Yeah, this is a big story. This is the biggest story of the day, I would say. Reports emerged that, from France that both PSG and Rashford are open to a move to PSG. That's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah, now there's something in this, seemingly. Julien Laurent has posted this one. Now, there was these rumours, weren't there, about 18 months ago, Rashford and PSG having talks. I think this when Tuchel was still there. He was reportedly a big fan of his.
And so was Pochettino, apparently, as well.
Pochettino as well.
Yeah.
So it's been ongoing, this sort of PSG to... Marcus Rashford's PSG move. He scored a couple of goals over there, and as well, which kind of reminds everyone, remember when he scored those winners against us. It says here that, confirmation of the contacts between PSG and Marcus Rashford, as reported first by L'Equipe. PSG need a player who can play wide or as a 9. Rashford is keen on a new challenge 1 year before the end of his contract. No discussions yet with United.
Slightly, I wouldn't say disingenuous, but there's also an extra optional year that United can activate in that contract. So really, he's got 2 years left. Because United aren't going to go, well, yeah, he's only got 1 year left, so it's less money. They'll say he's got 2 years left, really. So that does make some difference, maybe, to the fee. Yeah. Apparently, there was one of the reports said that Dwayne, who represents him, his brother, has had chats with PSG. I don't know if that's the truth of that, but that was based on reputable journalists saying that. First of all, what are your thoughts on this? There were some rumours that it maybe to help him get a new contract at United. Thirdly, do you think United should let him go? Does this deal make any sense to you?
Listen, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Marcus Rashford hasn't been performing to the levels that he should have been for a little while now. But I think he needs to get his head down and focus on Manchester United and performing for Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? There's too much of this nonsense. We had it last season where apparently you didn't know whether he wanted to extend his contracts and all that. Start performing, man. You've not performed for too long. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I know he had injury issues and all that, but he had his operation. He came back after the Euros, after his operation, scored a few goals and did nothing. I think he's not scored in, 15 months as a starter for Manchester United? Something like that. And forgive me if I'm getting the times or the dates, the length amount of time wrong. But his record over the last year or so has been pretty abysmal. I was glad when he got a few pre-season goals, to be honest with you, because I want to see him kick on. And now it's all he might go to PSG after he's just dropped to 4 out of 10 at best against Brighton. Just get your head down and get on with your job for Manchester United and perform for Manchester United, because you haven't been doing that. There's too many of these players who they're either not in it, the heart's not in it, or they're so quick to I've had enough, or I want to go, or I'm not getting picked or whatever. When are we going to start seeing these Manchester United players turn up properly? So, no, get on with the job you've got, which is at Manchester United Football Club. I don't think you should be negotiating with PSG. I think you should be working out how you can perform to the levels that I think you're capable of. I think Marcus Rashford's got a high ceiling. He's just not been nowhere near it for far too long. So, I know that's a bit of a long-winded answer. No. I'd rather he stayed and started performing for Manchester United. I know I'm in the minority because I've seen a lot of people saying they want to see him go. And that tells you its own story. Because 18 months ago, everyone was loving the kid. And now, most people, from what I've seen from the comments and from social media and stuff, think it'd be a good move. I just think, knowing this board, we'll sell him to PSG for 50 million and use the money to buy Joel Glazer a new yacht. Yeah. Oh yeah, we've got some breaking news there.
Who's that from?
It's from Frenkie de Jong's girlfriend. No, it's
not Frenkie de Jong's girlfriend.
She's posted on Instagram.
It's from an even more reliable source.
All right, go on.
According to Sky Sports, PSG are unlikely to follow up their initial interest in Marcus Rashford. The club declined to comment on reports in France this evening linking them with a move for the Manchester United forward. That's according to Sky Sports, apparently. So that's
Where do you stand on it?
I think... I don't know, because the general rule of if you want to leave, then leave, it's almost like my body doesn't want to extend that to Marcus Rashford because I like him and because he's from the academy, because of all the great things he's done politically and because of all the great games he's had for Manchester United as well. Let's not forget how many goals and moments. He's scored over 100 goals for Man United. Not many people have ever done that. So he's not some shit player that's been shit his whole career. He's been brilliant for Manchester United. But then you think, well, why? Like you said, why are we talking to PSG? Why is that happening? And I suppose it's not. necessarily him talking to PSG. Is that if PSG contact his representative, then some conversation can happen there that isn't necessarily them agreeing to this deal happening. I feel uneasy with players who are under contract at Man United who, like you said, are going through a bad run of form, then almost going, well, PSG still want me. Like, that's the story that's come out tonight, isn't it? PSG want Marcus Rashford. And there was some rumours that might be to get him a better contract at United. Whether that's
do you know what
true or
gets you a
not,
better contract at Manchester United?
Playing well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's a novel
I don't
idea.
hear this.
Scoring goals to Manchester United.
Yeah.
You've not scored since what, Christmas or January, whatever it is. Why don't you start doing that? Do you know what I mean? It's not just him. I just get it was at the Brighton game, and after 30 seconds, you're just thinking, here we go again. And there's too many players whose heads just drop. They're not up for it. Do you know what I mean? There's no desire there and battle that you want to see from Manchester United players. It's like, we had a 10-minute spell or whatever, and then people just sort of, that's it, that's your lot. I think, no, man, we should be sort of wanting to stay at Manchester United, wanting to improve Manchester United. Marcus Rashford's a Manchester United fan. He's come through the academy. If he is a United fan, which he is, then he should be hurting the way we are when we're seeing what's going on and want to do something about it and what will get Manchester United back to the levels we used to be at, because we've not been anywhere near those levels for about 10 years or since, 9 years, whatever it is. Yeah. So it's just not good enough. And, if PSG are interested in him, fine. But why is his brother having a chat with him?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, just, come on, get on with it at Manchester United.
How much do you think it'd be worth? How much do you think they'd pay for him?
50 million.
Fuck off. Honestly, I know that his stock must have fallen. We're talking 50 million for Cody Gakpo. They just paid 62 million.
We're talking about a player, right? I like Marcus Rashford.
No,
He's probably my favourite player because I do care about what he does off the pitch. I like the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? I like the fact he fed a load of kids, and I like the fact he come from Withenshaw, my kids were born. I like the fact he comes through the academy, and I like some of the the big goals he scored for us and all that jazz. But this is a player who scored 4 Premier League goals last season.
Yeah.
Who, even the season before where his goals and assists was quite high, did have a terrible sort of end towards the season form-wise. This is a player who's just been dropping so many bad performances. It's not just whether he's scoring goals or whatnot. Anyone can play well and not score. It's the performances haven't been great. They've been pretty poor. And I just feel like there's a general question mark now of, is Marcus Rashford ever going to get back to those levels?
Yeah.
I don't think it's settled that he will.
No.
Some players you go, it's a dip in form this. But it's been going on for that long, you go, is he past his best almost?
Yeah.
Has he, peaked? Is there one of the injuries have built
Michael
up?
Owen.
Yeah, one injury too many, just confidence is slightly gone. And he might go to PSG and find his mojo again because he's not got that pressure at United that he's got at United. He'll be playing against, I'm not saying it's a Farmers League, but lesser opposition week in, week out. He could go to PSG and score 10 goals and you can go, okay then, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
All right, and maybe get back in the England squad because Southgate likes him and he's got a few goals over in Paris, whatever. Maybe he does all right in the Champions League for him to get to a semis or whatever. And it's like, oh, Marcus Rashford's got his career going again. I get all that. But yeah, I just feel like his stock's fallen that much. I think he's around 50 million. Let's not forget he's not got that long left on his contract as well.
Yeah.
So how much do you say?
I think more like 60 or 70.
All right, yeah, I'm not going to argue with you over 10 million.
I just some of the players that get 50 million quid spent on them these days. Marcus Rashford has got 100 goals for Manchester United.
I think there might be an element of that as well.
Off, but or a bad year.
He is a massive name.
Yeah.
And I think that does matter to certain people, doesn't it? Because
especially PSG.
Yeah. So I understand that. I understand the idea. We have got a Twitter poll running, asking whether you'd want to see Marcus Rashford stay at Manchester United or not. I'm just going to have a look at it so far. Get involved in the Twitter poll. Have we put a link in the chat to the Twitter poll? If Man United were going to part with Marcus Rashford, what sort of fee would be willing to let him go for? That's the question, sorry, not whether he should go or not. 30 to 50 million, 19% of people saying that. 51 to 69 million, 39% of people saying that. 70 million plus, 41. So most people agree with you.
And that sort of maybe echoes or reflects the differing kind of user base of YouTube and Twitter, because based on what I'm seeing in the comments, and again, the people who comment aren't necessarily representative of everyone watching, but most people seem to be saying, bloody hell, take 50 million and run.
This is what I mean.
Yet there, what is it? Nearly 80% of the Twitter voters think we should be selling him for 50 million or more. So interesting there, just the disparity in what we're seeing here, and what we're seeing on there.
Gavin Barker says Marcus never recovered from the Euros. Ashley W says Rashford swap for Neymar. Glenn F says 75 million at least. Iwedi Menomaha says 60 to 70 million, nothing less. Some people being a little bit...
I don't want him to go. I want to keep him. I want to work. I want him to get better.
I just said that to Joe. You know, he's probably my favourite player. I love Marcus Rashford to get back amongst the goals. Like, you know, me and you was over on the tour. I was buzzing when he scored those goals on the tour in friendlies because I thought this might get him his confidence back because he looks bereft of confidence. But, you know, we're still waiting, aren't we?
I think it's too early to say he's had a bad start to the season. I think one game is nothing. Okay. I don't think one game even counts. Like, they all had a bad start. They're not all going to be shit. They're not all never getting back to their potential. I know you're not saying one game means that, but the start of the season isn't one game in terms of form. It's the first month or two.
Do you know what?
Let's give him that first.
I agree, and I've got to be, you know, relatively consistent in what I said. And I said this before the season started. He needs a good start, and you're right. It's not one game to the season though.
Yeah, I agree.
He can't get to Christmas with no goals.
No,
and expect Eric Ten Hag to stick with him.
No,
because Eric Ten Hag's going to be like, I don't owe you anything. I need to win football matches, and if you're not doing it, I think Marcus Rashford's benefited slightly from the fact that Elanga's not set the world alight. I like Elanga, but he's still 20. He's not got loads of goals in his. He's you know, what was he got 3 goals or whatever, 4 goals last season. And
less than Rashford.
Yeah, so it's not like he's sort of going, well, that's my position now. Boom, I'm coming in. But maybe if you go and sign the kid Gakpo or whatever, get him in, and that's a similar position. Maybe that does put pressure on Marcus Rashford. Chaliuv Gidwani says, just realised Joe looks like the love child of Rabiot and the Lama from the Emperor's New Groove. Is that why he's backing the transfer up the Paddock?
Unbelievable. What animal do you think you look like? If I'm a llama. I've been described as a llama before. Also the toucan from Lion King. Zazu.
Oh, right, yeah. I don't know. I don't really think
harsh, that, innit?
Yeah. I can see... I don't know, actually. I think you look more like... a
horse?
Yeah. No, you look like the one... What's that one off the cartoon? Oh, do you know what? I'm just getting... Yeah. What's that one off the cartoon? I've got so many cartoons in our house. The Zootropolis. That's it. Have you ever seen Zootropolis?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, you look like the police chief in that. I think he's a bison or something. You look like that.
Oh, I'll take that. Bison. Yeah. Nice bit of bison work. What about you? What animal would you be?
I'd be...
I think you're quite...
noble,
froggy,
majestic.
Like a frog.
Froggy?
I think you could be a frog.
Why am I Mr. Toad? What?
I didn't say Mr. Toad.
Yeah, why, a frog?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd tell you once, I went in my eldest daughter's bedroom and she'd found a frog or a toad or something in the garden, right? And she put it in this, like, tank. She's got this water.
What do you mean in this tank?
Yeah.
Where do you live where there's just loose fucking aviaries hanging around?
I can't remember what it was. It was like this. It wasn't a tank, like a clear bowl sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Filled it full of water and then she put a lid on it. So the poor thing was like drowning. But it was still going because it can swim for a bit. And I was like, what the hell is this? Where have you got this from? She's like, I found it in the garden. She's only like 5 or whatever. And I was like, you need to give it some air because it's going to die.
Did it die?
No, it lived.
Like Peter Griffin,
yeah, it was horrible. I wasn't expecting it when I walked in there.
No, of course not.
What is this?
Right.
So yeah, I'll take frog.
Should we talk about Rabiot?
Yeah, why not?
Speaking of Rabiot.
Oh, right. Yeah, why not?
I've got a question for you, Jay. Is this water bottle too big?
It does look ridiculously big, that. It's like, what are you planning for, the Armageddon? Like, in case you have to have water for a month.
2 litres, mate. Two of these.
You don't need 2 litres, though, with you.
2 of these a day, and let me tell you, you'll be pissing 6 times in the night.
That's heavy, that, bro.
Yeah, 2 kilograms.
That is 2 kilograms.
Well, that's just of water.
Do you think you are Stephen Howson?
It is very Stephen Howson,
isn't it? It's like, you'll be running through the forest at, like, 3 o'clock in the morning next, carrying that and...
Give me
a
that.
Kettlebell, whatever it is he does. Hey. Yeah, Adrien Rabiot. Manchester United's move for Adrien Rabiot is at risk of collapse. Oh yes. It's reported that Veronique Rabiot will have direct contact with United by Friday, but she's asking for a salary higher than the $6 million a year that her son is currently earning in Turin. Juventus fans are excited by the possibility of Rabiot departing and hope that the deal can be concluded as soon as possible. The 27-year-old is not in the club's plans. Juventus fans are excited. It's carrying you're doing a bit of lifting now, isn't it? Is that like all the fans?
Yeah.
They're all excited.
Yeah, they're all excited. I don't know why, but for some reason, everything I read about him is written as though he's some like, do you know the early villain in a film that gets killed off by the new big villain?
Yeah.
He's like that. Everything's written like he's some massive twat that everyone hates.
Yeah.
He started 28 games from last season.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't got many players that did that for United in the league.
No.
Like, Juventus fans are excited by the possibility of him leaving. All fans. There's not one that's going, I'm not particularly excited. No, every single Juventus fan is excited about him leaving. Like, what is this? And also, like, his mum's just the worst person in the world. That's how she's out shoplifting, stabbing people, like feeding rat poison to dogs. Like, it's like he's Cruella de Vil, or she's Cruella de Vil, and he's that bloke that drives a car around. It's some weird villain pair that's being described to us every time I read about him. Juventus fans are cackling wildly at the prospect of him fucking off. Yeah. Like, that's not true. Juventus fans.
So the population of Turin has come out into the streets in jubilation at the prospect of Adrien Rabiot finally leaving Juventus. Yeah. This is a historic moment in the club's history.
Yeah, in an unprecedented move, everyone in Turin has made a sign that when held up to the sky says, fuck off, Adrien.
Meanwhile,
it doesn't make any sense.
His mum took time off from dunking children in the river to negotiate a new deal for him. And she's actually asking for more money than he's on. The cheeky bitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally how it doesn't make any sense. What is this? He's just a human who plays football.
And his mum's trying to get him a good deal.
Yeah. Honestly, I can't even begin to describe what is going on. Like, whatever. He's a cheap signing. He's 15 million quid. I know they were going to get rid of him for free last year, but that's what happens in football all the time. Yeah, X months ago, they were going to terminate his contract. Now we're buying it. That doesn't mean that we're just the worst club in the world and we're stupidly thick. Everyone always, like, this sort of stuff happens all the time. He's just a squad player to come in and maybe be slightly better than Scott McTominay. That's what he is. We need to replace numbers. Matic, Mata, Pogba, Lingard. We need to replace these players in the squad and we haven't done that. He is a step towards that and no more than that. It doesn't have to be this huge, like, Disney villain story of him and his mum going around, killing shop owners for looking at them badly. Like that guy on No Country for Old Men with a gas canister just pointing at people's heads. That's not happening. He's just a human who plays football. Leave him alone.
I know, it's getting a bit pantomime, innit? And, this all, Juventus fans are excited and everything else. Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you guys think about Rabiot coming to Manchester United. Are you excited?
That being said, it's not that good.
Someone saying Fabrizio just tweeted. Let's have a look what Fabrizio.
He tweets all the time. He's probably saying that someone's just joined Carlisle. He tweets about every single club. I don't know how he does it.
We will have a look, yeah. Here we go. Adrien Rabiot deal. Manchester United director John Murtaugh has meeting scheduled with players' mother and agent Veronique. Right.
Yeah,
so
just go on. Just read it.
Right.
With his mum.
Yeah, with his mum. Interim, key days for the negotiation.
Yeah.
Full agreement with Juve for 70 million, but it's not time for Man United to meet with Rabiot's camp.
Read that first bit again, Jay. Just that top line that you can see there.
Adrien Rabiot deal. Manchester United director John Murtaugh.
Stop you there. This deal's done. John Murtaugh's. Oh yeah. Do you not remember when we saw John Murtaugh in Barcelona, negotiating for the deal and conclusion of one Frenkie de Jong? Frenkie de Jong is now signed for Manchester United, Jay. Chalk this one off. Rabiot's in the books. When Murtaugh turns up, the deal gets done, and that's final. If he's in Turin,
I genuinely, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not joking. You'll think I'm joking, I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if John Murtaugh is in Turin to negotiate for Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually came out and went, we've signed Pogba.
How much?
And it went,
60 million. 60 million.
Bargain. He's worth at least 80.
Yeah, he's got 6 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
That is a deal. I'm only got to get him in the summer. He's a free agent. Yes, you fucking idiot, because he was ours. Yeah, so I don't care whether John Murtaugh's there. Just like I don't care that Rabiot's mum's his agent. I'm sick of hearing the word Veronique. Sorry, no disrespect to her, but it's like, ooh, look at her, she's evil.
They're both evil.
And
everyone
get the deal done or don't.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? This isn't even a player I was thinking about 2 weeks ago.
No.
It's not like we've got to get Adrien Rabiot.
No.
All right, and now it's just become a big circus. Oh my God. Anyway, sorry. Let's. Sam Carter says, heard she parks in disabled spots. Nutcase. Yeah.
She does too as well. She parks across it.
Yeah, she parks across it.
We need to, little things that him and his mum, just like low-level crimes and stuff that they commit together.
Yeah. Um,
I heard that she puts the, do you know those yellow stickers that you get on discounted stuff? Yeah. She puts that on non-discounted stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still scans it as that.
Oh.
Absolute disgrace. I saw she bought a sirloin steak for 11p.
Really?
It was meant to be a cream slice.
I used to do that when I used to work at Asda.
Did you?
Mint, yeah. So I could create a Stella for 12p.
Did you ever put a whoopsie label on your...
On my willy?
No, on your toe.
All right.
Jesus Christ, no, down, way down there. On you.
Whoops!
Absolutely. Read on. Disgusting.
No, I didn't. I was only 16 when I went there.
Yeah, that's true. They take the beans out of the food bank basket of the supermarket. Do you know at the front where it's like Dog's Trust?
Yeah.
They're like
that. I've heard, do you know the National Lottery pens?
Yeah.
She snaps the chain on them. She has them away. Don't worry about that. Those chains don't stop
her. Do you know the
there.
ones outside IKEA, the pencils?
Yeah.
And they're just free to use for your hands in like that. Get the carry bag. Get in all of them fucking things. Don't even go in IKEA.
Really?
Disgusting.
I've seen her walking in front of blind people with a dog's going like that. Hey, that sounds horrible. Yes. I had to have a word with her. So, what are you doing? Pat that in. Bang out of order. And then she ran off to nick some more pens. Yeah. So, just be careful if you see Veronique knocking about. Because she's always at it. Anyway. Do we have to do a disclaimer here and say we're just making all this up, by the way?
Yeah, the whole point is we're defending them.
Yeah.
Satire.
Satirical.
Oh, God.
Daniel Paget says, I've heard she kicks big issues, Sellers.
She does.
Yes, exactly. Karim Bouazazu, I think he's been saying this a few times. I've seen this same sentence, so I presume it's him. There's a few people saying it. We must buy Anthony Gordon to replace Rashford. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't even think Everton, in their madness, and they do some madness, would sell as Anthony Gordon. He's like their cult hero at the minute, isn't he? And he's probably their only very good player.
Now they've sold Richarlison.
He's the one that gets the crowd going, and I think if they sold him, there'd be a mutiny.
Yeah, and also let's wait till he's actually done something. Do you know what I mean?
We'll just wait till he's done something. He has half a good season, and we'll spend the 90 million on him that you'd expect us to.
Yeah.
Right. What else have we got? Oh, yes. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Because, it's 2018 all over again. We're looking forward to him in the World Cup to see what he can do, and then maybe we'll put a bid in for Jose.
Put a what in him?
Bid in him. Bella!
How come this is 50 million as well? Everything's just 50 million now.
Do you know what?
Everything costs 50 million.
It is. It's just
That's the new, 18 million, isn't it?
Yeah, 18 million. No, 50 million. That's bog standard. That is what we're going for. And this is what he's been linked for a little while now as well. Like I said, we were linked with him about 4 years ago. You can see here, the Telegraph recently reported that he would cost 50 million, a price that has since dropped. Intermediaries are waiting to hear if Manchester United want to finally move for Milinkovic-Savic. Having been linked with the Serbian for the past 3 years, I'd say 4, actually.
Yeah.
Just, but so far, no decision has been made. It's reported he would now cost in the region 42 million. So there's a bargain. If United turn to him as an alternative to Frenkie de Jong. So yeah, it does make sense that we're looking at other options, because if we don't get de Jong, and despite what Jason Burt was saying, there's still a very strong chance we won't, you think we've got to get someone. I can't just see it being Rabiot.
No. I think this is the sort of signing. Again, he's one of those players that he's been like, not a big name, but a known name for a long time. Almost like Koulibaly. Although not, Koulibaly's reputation was higher a few years ago. But that kind of like, apparently a really great player, but he's sort of locked in a trophyless Serie A team for some reason. Like, he's been playing at Lazio for a long time now. Yeah. We've been linked with him, like I said, for 4 or 5 years. Since I think he was like 22 when we first linked with him. What is he now, 26, 27?
27, yeah.
Yeah, 27. And you just sort of think, I don't know how good this guy is. I've seen him play. I've seen him play internationally. I've seen him play in Europe. I've seen him play domestically, and I've seen him have some brilliant games. But I just don't know how it will translate to the Premier League. I think he's a good player. I think as a backup or alternative to De Jong, it makes more sense than like Rabiot is obviously just an and one player, isn't he? He's not the main guy. It does seem a bit underwhelming compared to De Jong, doesn't it? In terms of what he offers, the experience with the manager. He's someone that I'm not certain is top class, whereas De Jong, I'm pretty certain he is. I just worry that, again, it's a bit of a drop-off, and it's correlating with this pattern we're seeing of United never getting their first choice targets. It's second or third at best. And I think he's a good player, but I want to see us getting that number one target for once, especially with a new manager in. He needs all the help he can get, and we're getting, Milinkovic-Savic maybe if De Jong doesn't work out. It's not particularly inspiring, is it?
It's not. I mean, I understand and I kind of agree with that. The only sort of caveat I would say is it's good we have got an alternative. I think we should have had an alternative. And also it's good that this seems to be a long-term target. I don't mind that. What has worried me slightly is that all our targets seem to be 10-hour targets. Yeah. And it's like, what have we been doing? Every good club out there, when they get a manager in, especially a manager coming in, he's coming in a few months before he arrives, you have targets for him because you know the way he plays, you know the system he has, you know the type of player that would suit him. City did it with Pep Guardiola. They bought Sterling and De Bruyne before he arrived, knowing he was going to get there, and those are players that will suit you. Salah was a long-term target for Liverpool. They knew he'd fit in with a Jurgen Klopp team. And yet with United, it's just like reactionary. It's the manager comes in, whether that's, Louis van Gaal. Well, maybe Louis van Gaal was slightly different. I think there was a couple of targets there that have been long-term. But Jose Mourinho comes in, he wants these players. Yeah. We get him for him. Ole comes in, he wants these players. We get him for him. And now you've got a new manager who's coming in and he's going, right, I want these players, and we get him for him. There doesn't seem to be too many long-term targets. He's one of them. He's not the one where I go, yes, finally, we've got him. But I think he's a useful midfielder. Did well last season, 11 goals in Serie A, not to be sniffed at. And he's not an out-and-out attacking midfielder, is he? So that's a decent return. And, 27, getting to his peak years. I know it sounds like we're reaching and clutching at straws slightly, but, he seems like a good, solid professional footballer. Do you know what I mean? Always goes about his business quite well. There's never any issues with him, is he? He gives his all. And maybe you need a bit of that. Maybe you need a bit more solidity at Manchester United, rather than have these spoilt brats who can't be bothered. And I don't take any pleasure in saying that. I don't be too critical of all of them, but it does feel a little bit underwhelming with some of the United players in a minute, and maybe you just need one or two, if we don't get Frenkie de Jong, like him, Milinkovic-Savic, because if you don't get de Jong, who are you getting?
Yeah, we need someone.
You know what I mean? I know people say Ruben Neves or Yuri Tielemans. Tielemans just had a stinking season. Yeah. And Ruben Neves has been linked with everyone for about 3 years for a reason. It's like, no one's actually come in for him. And it's like, I know Neves is decent, but I don't think there's much of a difference. I know there's slightly different types of players between him and Neves, if I'm being honest. No. So, anyway, get involved in the comments, let us know what you think. Taylor Green, welcome to the first team, join the members. If you've not done so already, and you feel like you want to do so, go and check out the members section, join the members. You get extra content on there. You got myself and Joe doing a video about fantasy football. I did a video recently in Copenhagen and in Oslo, a little mini Scandinavian tour. We're going to have loads more extra content. I wanted to remind everyone of that. It is extra. We're not taking anything off the main channel, but extra content from our members coming up. We'll have more behind the scenes vids and all that sort of jazz. Also, if you are a member, make sure you join the Fantasy Football League, because there's obviously you can join that free of charge. The link is in the video talking about the fantasy team. So check that out. If you've missed that, there is a fantasy league for Paddock, for members only, where you can win £100 at the end of the year if you win it. So you might as well join it. It's just free of charge if you're already in as a member. So if any of the members have missed that, you're only 1 week behind. Plenty of time to catch up. Join that if you remember. So don't miss that. Do you think with some of these players that we might? I'm just asking. I don't know. We might actually be surprised that they're good. Yeah. And we're not used to seeing that. Yeah. So they could come in and they can pick a pass out, they can stick a foot in, they can have a bit of vision about them. Yeah. They want the ball all the time. They're good at sort of transition stuff. And you go, actually, we've been a bit snobbish with some of these players because we've been watching mediocrity for so long that I think someone like Martin Odegaard is a decent example of this, where it's like he went to Real Madrid when he was 16. He had some successful loans around La Liga. He went back to Madrid, they didn't want him. Came to Arsenal, and he was this sort of player that was kind of at a pivotal point of his career where it's like you were this wonder kid that isn't working out at the club that paid all this money for you. And Arsenal, and I watched. I don't think he's a world-class player by any means. No. But he came in and was comfortably better than what they had, despite seemingly being on this sort of faltering path towards who knows. And now he's their fucking captain. He was a player that, like I said, could have gone one way or the other at that moment in his life. He's on loan at Arsenal from Real Madrid, and he's already been loaned out 2 or 3 times. He could have gone one way or the other, and now he's their captain. I think if Scott McTominay didn't play for United, we would never sign him. I think the fact that he plays for us is the only reason he keeps playing for us. And I hate to say it, to a certain extent, I think the same with Fred. I think if he was playing for another Premier League team, no United fans would be like, we need him. And I think that there is genuinely massive improvements to make in that midfield. I think Rabiot is an improvement on some of the players we've got. And I think Milinkovic-Savic, like you said, could easily come in and be
2 or 3 notches above what we've got, and we go, bloody hell, we really were struggling there. Because we've seen all of our attackers, and not Sancho at United, but Rashford has done it at United, Ronaldo's done it at United, Sancho did it at Dortmund, have world-class seasons. And we haven't won a trophy since Rashford got here, pretty much. I know he was just at the fringes when we first won the
FA Cup.
When we won the FA Cup,
Cup,
League.
The other two as well.
But in his peak, since he's been a 20-plus goal player, we haven't won anything.
Yeah.
So that midfield is so lacking that it can't sort of knit together attack and defence consistently for 3 or 4 years now. I think there's massive improvements to be made for not much money. I think he would definitely be better than what we've got. I agree with you, definitely.
Yeah, I do feel like, I know Kate, you may be saying, all right, we're lowering the bar that much that you're going, oh, anyone better, but you make a good point of Odegaard. And it's that whole thing as well. Odegaard comes in, he's a professional. He gets on. Arsenal were a mess 3 years ago. They had one of the worst attitudes in football. You had players tweeting or posting on Instagram things against the manager. Yeah. You had these just fallouts, players going missing, not turning up for training, getting fined. The fans hated them, all this nonsense going on. And then you get 1 or 2 young kids coming through. You get some professionals in who, good, and they've got a right attitude and it can help. And maybe we need one or 2 more like that. I know Rabiot's had his issues, whatever, but apparently as well, I was reading that since he's been at Juve, he hasn't really had any issues. Yeah. I think his mum had a row with someone at the French Euros, whatever, but him himself, he's just kind of got on with it. Yeah. But certainly Milinkovic-Savic, I've never heard anything about him unless I've missed it, to make me think he's nothing but a solid pro. And also, sorry, labour the point, but would Fred or McTominay get 11 goals in Serie A last season?
No.
No, they wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that should be the benchmark, but it would be a step up, wouldn't it? I feel like it would be. So, yeah, I'm actually talking myself into this one. Rick Wales says, up the slopper army. Cheers for the hard work, gents. Thank you. Tarquin Teddy says, Milinkovic-Savic is class. Matt Connor says, Rabiot's mum's purse is full of Willy Mill Bookies pens. That's what I heard. Anyway, yeah, a lot of it's weird with Rashford. There seems to be a bit of a split. Some people saying get rid of him, get Anthony in, or get whoever in. Get Gakpo in or whatever. Others saying give him another chance. Matt Gates says Erik ten Hag is playing Moneyball. I wouldn't mind if we were playing Moneyball. Like I wouldn't mind if we were getting these players that in Moneyball you get the players that other clubs don't want or whatever, other teams don't want because there's something wrong with them. They've got an attitude problem, or they're too old, or you know what I mean. They've had 1 too many injuries, or whatever. But actually their ability's still there. I wouldn't mind if we were doing things like that, but we're just not doing anything. No. You know what I mean? Tyrone Malacia felt like a bit of a Moneyball signing.
Ericsson,
yeah, I get that. And then it's just stopped, and it's like, all right, okay, now we've done that. That'll be it. Yeah. Now we need some more signings, at least 2 more signings, as this transfer window will be disastrous. Steve Oak says Erik ten Hag doesn't know what he's doing. He's only had 1 game, hasn't he?
Come on.
Like, do you know what I mean?
How can you say that already?
Let's give the kid a chance. Daniel Abraham says, I heard that she leaves the clothes in a mess in a retail store. I think it's still on the...
She tries to follow and then just throws it in, leaves it in the dressing room.
Yeah, Ollie Aston says, just any depth to this midfield at this point now, will be helpful at this point now. I feel like it is one of those, isn't it?
That's dead awkward, isn't it? Do you know when you try some clothes on at a shop and you come back out and there's the person who's giving you like the number card so you don't nick off with some clothes. And they're like, are they all right for you? And you have to say no and hand them like 5 items of clothing for them to put back on the shelf. I hate doing that.
Why?
Sometimes I say yes and put them back on the shelf myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just feel like I'm just going, no, and you'll deal with it because I'm some spoilt king. No, I didn't like these shorts actually. Put them back for me. Yeah. I always feel horrible doing that. Yeah. I'll just go like, yeah, these are nice. These are nice, these. I just put them back out and fold them up and put them back.
I just put them on in the change rooms, put my normal clothes over them and just say, what are you on about? I was just going in there looking for my kids and that. I'm even fucking trying to clothes on.
Why have you got some trousers underneath your shorts?
Why are you beeping as you walk leaving the store? What? Hey, racism. Right. Shall we wrap it up there anyway? We've spoken about Adrien Rabiot's mum. We've spoken about Frenkie de Jong's girlfriend's Instagram post. We've spoken about Marcus Rashford and all that other stories. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Who was the other kid as well at the top of the show?
Cody Gakpo.
I always get that one wrong. Cody Gakpo, who we could be in from PSV Eindhoven. So make sure you are checking out Joe's News in the morning. You'll be live at 10:30, my good sir, giving you an update on all those things. You're going to miss out if you don't. Well, you might not miss out, but make sure you don't by subscribing to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. There's a link in the chat. Thanks to everyone who got involved. Go and check out Joe's at Sloppy Joe's, the podcast he does with producer Ethan and Joe McGrath. Very, very funny. Pains me to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, well
You've been
done.
on it yourself.
Yeah. Go and check him out on socials as well. Joe Smith _93. You know, is there an underscore?
No, Joe Smith 93.
Sorry, it's Ronaldo has the underscore. It's just Joe Smith 93, innit? I almost got through that without making a mistake. Apologies. You know what? Find me, Jay Motti. I'll be back tomorrow afternoon with The Brew with Mr. Stephen Howson as well. We'll also have transfer review tomorrow. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
So we'll have transfer review tomorrow afternoon where you get to see Stephen Howson outside Old Trafford shouting about transfers. What more would you want? This has been Transfers Live. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. Thanks for watching.